Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznuz here, and today's video is going to be a super AFK money making guide. So this guide is going to focus on methods to make money that are very AFK, but can make you some really decent money. So I'm not going to be showing like AFK Vindicta where you have to pay a ton of attention or anything. I'll be focusing on methods that are more AFK that you can kind of, walk away for a minute or two and then come back without risking death. Basically things you can click and forget while watching Netflix and also make some decent cash. So if you want to make more money on RuneScape 3 or progress your account, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another video. Alright, so I usually do 3 different money making methods for my money making guides. So the first method we're going to do is going to be a hunter method, and it's going to be collecting fungal spores from the decaying guards outside of Croesus, but you'll be doing this for the tier 3 elder troves and the resonant anima of Bic, which is how we're really going to be making our money. So the requirements for this method are 88 or 92 hunter, depending if you want to gather the enriched spores or not. 92 hunter makes it a bit easier, and then you'll need the shadow pontifex ring fully upgraded with 1,000 of each anima. I'll leave a link to exactly how to get the ring and what quests and stuff you need in the description. It's pretty cheap to charge now, and you don't need to overcharge it at all. Just make sure that you charge the ring with 1,000 of each anima and wear it during this method. Alright, so how this method works is you'll want to go to Croesus and go to the hunter location near it. You'll want to bring your best hunter gear and signs of the porter and grace of the elves. This is the setup that I use, but I don't have all the best hunter boosts, so basically just make sure you bring the best hunter gear that you have. So then you'll basically just want to click on the decaying guards, and then you can basically AFK for quite a bit before you need to click again. When you do this, you'll end up getting a resonant anima of Bic, which currently goes for like 3 to 4k each, which is really good. And then the main purpose is you'll be getting elder troves tier 3. Now these troves drop the Pernix quiver fragments at around 1 fragment in every 9 troves, and the Pernix quiver goes for a decent amount. You'll also have a chance to get the manuscript of Bic pages, which go for around 1 mil each as well from the troves. And I did this for a full hour, and it was super AFK. I barely had to pay attention at all. I just clicked once the guard ran out of spores, and then looked away from my screen, and then looked back and clicked again. Very easy, similar to like training archaeology AFK. So now we're going to look at how much profit I made in the hour. So I ended up getting 8 troves, which the cap is 8 troves per hour with the fully upgraded ring, and then I got 628 anima Bic, and then of course the spores, which don't really sell for that much. So we ended up selling the anima of Bic and fungal spores, and then I went and opened my troves, and on average you probably should get around 1 Pernix quiver piece every 8 or 9 troves, so basically every hour or so, and we did end up getting one. So in total, from 1 hour completely AFK, we got around 6 million GP and some pretty good hunter XP as well. Is this the most profitable method in RuneScape? No, but it's extremely AFK, really decent hunter XP, and it makes you some nice money too. Not to mention, if you are going for the golden party at shard during RuneScape's 20th anniversary event, you can also be using this method to get your gathering shard as well, I believe, which can make you even more money in the long run. Alright, so our next method is going to be a combat method, and it'll be killing Seeker Slayer creatures in the Stalker dungeon AFK with Revolution++. Now the requirements for this method are level 71 Slayer and the Dishonor Among Thieves quest complete. You'll need the Oldak Coil, which is highly recommended, as well as Devotion is also highly recommended, and then I recommend around 80 combat stats. So let's get into the equipment setup and the inventory setup first. So for gear, this is the gear I'm using. However, you should just bring your normal range Slayer gear. I'd say at minimum tier 70 armor and tier 80 weapons. Now notable items that you can bring to help are the Blood Amulet of Fury for some healing, Cinderbane gauntlets if you have them, since these monsters are poisonable. I was using the Scripture of Wen, but you can use whatever pocket slot you want, but it's pretty decent for AoE and cheap. As for the inventory, bringing an Ancient Elven Ritual Shard and Enhanced Excalibur can help you maintain prayer and health easier for cheaper. Oldak Coil and Cannonballs are very strong here and super good, as well as Weapon Poison and Overloads as your potions. Then I would advise bringing a bit more prayer than I did here. As for food, I brought a little bit, but I actually never ended up needing to eat any food at all, and I was pretty much always near max health, so I'd just bring a bit more prayer. You should always be kind of close to max health because we're going to be using the Vampirism aura. This is extremely important, so make sure you have your Vampirism aura activated when doing this method as well. Also, the communication device gotten during the Dishonor Among Thieves quest can teleport you right here very fast to the Stalker dungeon, so I brought that too. As for your revolution bar, you'll want to basically have a bunch of AoE abilities. You don't need greater ricochet like I have, just replace it with normal ricochet, and then having devotion at the front of your bar so it's constantly being used is very good, as well as having sacrifice on your bar for heals is really going to help you just take very little damage. You can also put death swiftness at the start of your bar too. The bar I'm using is by no means optimal, but I was easily able to AFK, walk away from my screen, and maintain pretty much full health. Alright, so for doing this method, you'll want to just go to the Stalker dungeon, drink up your overloads and weapon poison, activate your Vampirism aura, put down your Oldak Coil and fill it up with cannonballs, turn on your auto retaliate, take out your legendary pet if you do have one. It can make it easier to pick up the common drops, but of course you don't need it. Make sure you put on your protect from magic and then just AFK. I had my loot beam set to 100k and I would basically pick up anything that beamed. These drop a lot of rare drop table drops, so you'll be getting a lot of those as well. You can pick up all the loot, but since I wanted to make this even more AFK, I basically only picked up the Seeker charms, which is the main drop that we're going to be killing these for, and any rare drop table drops that I got I also picked up, and I was basically able to AFK and like go to the bathroom in the middle of this, come back at basically full health. The only times that you'll actually have to pay attention is to glance back to see if you got any drops or to drink prayer. So now we're going to go take a look at some of the loot. Alright, so this was my loot from 30 minutes of AFKing the Seekers. Now keep in mind, I did not pick up any of the normal drops. I tried to be as AFK as possible, so I only picked up the rare table drops or the Seeker charms, and this was super AFK. And as you can see, in 30 minutes of AFKing these, we made 5.5 mil, which is like 11 mil GP per hour. Now I would say this method is probably around the 8 to 10 mil per hour AFK. You can maybe get a little more money if you have a legendary pet picking up the normal drops, but this has become one of my favorite methods and I highly recommend you try it out if you have the stats. My charms did end up selling after a little bit in the GE for 225k each. So finally, our last method is going to be fletching Elder arrow shafts and then making them into Headless Elder arrows. Now this method requires only level 90 fletching. As for gear and inventory, you don't need much. Fletching cape perk is nice, but it's not needed and it won't make a huge difference. Basically, you'll just want to buy elder logs and feathers off the Grand Exchange for this method. After this, you'll basically just want to AFK while you craft your logs into arrow shafts. This lets you AFK for around a minute before you need to bank and get out more logs. Then after you fletch them all into arrow shafts, you'll then need to tip them with the feathers to make elder headless arrows. This is just as AFK, if not a little bit more AFK than crafting the shafts, since you don't have to actually bank. Just use your feathers on the arrows and AFK for a little over a minute and repeat. Very easy and very straightforward as a method. So we ended up spending around 4.6 mil on all the elder logs and feathers, and then in total for our elder headless arrows we got 6.24 mil worth, which comes out to a decent profit of around 1.6 million GP, and this took us around 25 minutes, so this method is pretty comfortably 3.5 to 4 million GP per hour. And all the arrows actually ended up instant selling for even more than the price showed, so we did make a little bit extra. So I would say, yeah, pretty much 4 mil an hour, maybe a little bit more. Depending on if you want to wait for them to sell, you could maybe get even more for them. Alright, so that's gonna do it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. I know you guys loved the AFK money making guide I did about 7-8 months ago, so I thought I'd do another one with completely different methods. Some of these methods are newer, like the Elder Trove, so I thought it was a good time to make a guide, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for all the support recently, and I'll see you all in the next video.